Welcome to Bloomington, Indiana for college football presented by Kay Jewelers. You're watching the Big Ten on ABC. College football playoff hopeful Wisconsin looks to continue its unbeaten season as the 8-0 Badgers take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Wisconsin has won 11 straight Big Ten regular season games. And welcome to Booth alongside Greg McElroy. I'm Dave Pasch. We'll get to Tom Luginbill in a minute. Wisconsin, Greg, ranked 4th by the AP, but the College Football Playoff Selection Committee not convinced. They put him 9. One thing's for certain, though, they have one of the best running backs in college football in Jonathan Taylor, who's banged up but will play today.
He's a star, and his availability is huge for this football team to reach the heights that they're capable of reaching. Paul Chryst admitted, he said, we're a good team without him, but we're a great team with him. That left leg injury is something to keep an eye on. Will it affect his lateral agility against a pretty good Indiana defense, who, Tom, is going to have to carry the load because they're without their starting quarterback?
Well, they are. And when they lose Peyton Ramsey, they might lose some things in the quarterback run game. But with Richard Lego, they're going to gain some things in the vertical passing game. A possibility for more explosive plays for this Indiana offense here in Bloomington. Got a lot of ball coming right around the bend. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Dreary and overcast in Bloomington. It's about 54 degrees. Was supposed to be 66. It's a little bit chillier than expected here at Indiana, where Wisconsin has dominated the Hoosiers. They have not lost to Indiana since 2002, winning 9 straight. Average margin of victory 37 points during that span. Paul Chryst in his 3rd season as head coach, former player and assistant coach at Wisconsin. He's 29-6 and 11-1 in true road games as the UW head coach. Wisconsin won the toss, deferred selection, so they will kick off here to Indiana. And on one hop, it's Devontae Williams for the Hoosiers. And he's to the 24-yard line. Richard Lego, former Oklahoma State quarterback who then transferred to community college in Texas, is starting today for the injured Peyton Ramsey. Lego started all 13 games last year and the first 4 games this year, including a 400-yard passing effort against Ohio State in a game they led at halftime but eventually lost. So it's career start number 18 for Lego today. He's got a true freshman running back next to him in Morgan Allison. Allison did not play last week because of injury. Indiana's been so close their last 3 games. They lost in overtime to Michigan, lost by 8 against Michigan State and 3 at Maryland. And a good start here, completion to Luke Timian for 8 yards.
Lego has a lot of arm talent. If you looked at every quarterback on both rosters, he is obviously the most talented arm of the bunch. So it's interesting to see whether or not he'll be able to stay in the moment today.
Here's Ellison on the run, gets good blocking out there, and picks up the first down. Knocked out of bounds by Dakota Dixon, who was hurt and didn't play last week for Wisconsin, but he's back. Ellison, not highly recruited because of injuries, broke his leg twice in high school, and again was injured last week, but he's got talent. Big guy, 261, 225. Play action for Lego, in trouble and sacked back at the 32-yard line. Alec James, who had 2 sacks last week against the Illini.
This is going to be a very difficult task for this Indiana offensive line. They're facing 3, 4, and 5 guys that they'll rotate in on the Badgers defensive front that can really push the pocket and affect the quarterback. As you can see right there, advantage Badgers early.
And Wisconsin on pace for its most sacks in 20 years. Lego over the middle, incomplete, intended for Simi Cobbs, broken up by Nick Nelson. That's an excellent matchup to watch. Cobbs, the leading receiver for Indiana. Nelson, number 2 in the country in pass breakups.
Greg, one thing to keep an eye on with that pressure on the quarterback, Richard Lego, is you've got to understand he's not like Peyton Ramsey in the sense that he can make things happen and create and extend plays with his legs. They got to protect him if they want to have success today.
And now look at this. You got 3rd and 18, so you know what's coming here from Wisconsin. You got to get to the 49 of the Badgers to get a first down. Lego sliding up, climbing the pocket, flips it forward. It's caught by Brookins, but he's leveled by T.J. Edwards. And so the Hoosiers have to kick.
Wisconsin in that situation is so difficult to scheme against. Every defense in college football is on 3rd and 18. But Wisconsin in particular, because of how good they are at defending screens. So many offenses go to the screen game on 3rd and long. Wisconsin doesn't give up much production in those types of plays. So a very tough team to get off track against.
Hayden Whitehead to kick, and Nick Nelson is deep, signaling, and has it at the 22-yard line. Sophomore Alex Hornibrook is the starting quarterback for the Badgers. He's from Westchester, Pennsylvania, committed to Pitt when Paul Chryst was the head coach there, and followed into Wisconsin. Alex's dad played football. His uncle John was a quarterback at Miami, and another uncle, Ben Davis, was the #2 draft pick in Major League Baseball in 1995. He's won his last 14 starts at quarterback. That's #1 among active signal callers in the FBS. Now, there were games last year he didn't start because of Bart Houston. But with Houston gone, Hornibrook is the guy this year. But up and down. And they run Jonathan Taylor on first down. Look out! Taylor past the 40-yard line into Hoosier territory and out of bounds around the 33. Looked pretty healthy on that run.
No question about it. And with a left leg injury, you don't really get all that concerned about whether or not he can go north and south. You know he can do that, but what was encouraging, if you're looking at this run, and look at this step that he takes right there. See that left leg where a lot of weight and power and momentum was put on that left leg on the first cut. Didn't slow him down whatsoever. Looked just as explosive as he has all season. And he burst through for a huge gain.
So he's already over 1,200 yards with that carry, 37. And they're going to run him off the right side in another big lane. Taylor wrapped up at the 26. Gain of 7 for the true freshman from Salem, New Jersey. Wisconsin's had so many good backs out of the state of New Jersey. Ron Dane, of course, who won the Heisman. Corey Clement. P.J. Hill was from New York State, so they had a lot of success. Guys in that area. Anthony Davis as well from New Jersey.
Tremendous high school football played in New Jersey. Very tough, very physical brand of football.
On 2nd and 3, the backup tailback, Brad Shaw, getting the first down inside the 20-yard line. So they're just leaning on him right now on this first drive.
And Shaw's a good back, too. So it's not like when Taylor comes out, you get a reprieve. There's plenty of backs with Shaw and James and Groshek that have all had production throughout the course of the first 8 games of the season. So it's a deep stable of backs, and that offensive line with their size and the way they lean on you, it's very difficult to maintain momentum defensively.
They bring 3 tight ends into the game to run the ball here, and Shaw is going to come up short of the line to gain, but another good run on first down.
There's that over-shifted look, the unbalanced 3 tight ends, something that Tom Allen, the defensive head coach, I guess you could call him, former defensive coordinator here at Indiana, very, very concerned about at the point of attack, because defensively you got to align to the strength, but that's how they work the numbers at Wisconsin on offense. They're going to get you at a disadvantage and then overwhelm you at the point of attack.
And here it is again. You get that same group at the bottom of your screen. They run behind those tight ends, and going to be close for Taylor. They'll mark him short, so it's a big 3rd down for Indiana, trying to slow down this powerful front for Wisconsin. Tony Fields on the stop.
And the first time that Indiana's really been up to the task at the point of attack. Like you said, trying to run behind those 3 big tight ends. Nothing going on that particular play, but 3rd down is no problem for Wisconsin. They are the best in college football when it comes to picking these up, and that's in large part due to the fact that they live in 3rd and 1 and 2, which is very manageable.
And they're going to hand it off to Ingold, and he gets the first down. He's not the normal fullback, although they do give it to him. He's got 9 career rushing touchdowns. Austin Ramish, senior fullback, is out for today's game because of injury. 1st and goal for Wisconsin.
Ramish is a big loss. I know that obviously having a fullback that has a lot of experience shouldn't be much drop off, and you can see Tom Allen First full season as the head coach here in Bloomington after spending last year as the defensive coordinator. What an improvement the defense for Indiana has made to this point.
Wisconsin has yet to throw it on this drive. They won't here as Shaw is dropped after a gain of 1. Brought down by Jacob Robinson and Robert McCray. That's the best job that Indiana's D-line has done on this opening possession.
Greg, really good job right there by McCray, penetrating the gap. Tom Allen spoke of that this week in relationship to making sure you are so gap sound and where you need to be, because even if you are, they might push you right off the ball, but at least you're going to be in the right spot and don't create a huge gap for the running back.
Yeah, and Tom, they've obviously run it all the way down the field. Might be time for Wisconsin to think trying to score through the air with a play action.
Nope, it's Garrett Groshek getting the call, and the walk-on is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage by Jerome Johnson. Indiana trying to do anything it can to gain momentum. It's a team that has been so close, but still without a win in Big Ten play. Tom Allen said, look, though, we've got these guys believing. They're still fighting for us. We like what we're seeing. We know we're close. Third and goal for the Badgers. And the first pass for Hornibrook. Has time. Now gets hit. And it's intercepted in the end zone. T-Gray Scales picks it off on an underthrown ball because of pressure on Hornibrook.
Wisconsin goes right down the field by leaning on their big offensive line. But you ask that offensive line to pass protect, not so fortunate. Big play, Indiana.
Alex Hornibrook had 10 touchdowns and no picks prior to that possession in the red zone, but he turns it over thanks to great pressure from Jacob Robinson to the backside of the quarterback Hornibrook. So Indiana takes over after the Scales pick on its 20-yard line. Lego passes high, intended for Timian, incomplete.
This crowd wanting a penalty there. Of course, Lego in for the injured Peyton Ramsey. Hasn't gotten much going through the air other than the first play of the game just yet.
By the way, for Indiana on defense, that was just the third interception all year. That's the kind of play they've needed that they haven't been able to get late in games to win. And they'll run it, and there's a huge lane off the right side for a first down by Morgan Ellison past the 30-yard line. 11-yard gain. As you look at Peyton Ramsey, who is out because of injury today, normally the starting quarterback.
It's a big loss, too, especially knowing how well Wisconsin rushes the passer. A little more stationary target with Richard Lego under center.
Lego with a ton of time into traffic, broken up, tried to hit Sidney Cobbs. Greg, as you've watched Indiana over the course of this year, what happened? Because that first game against Ohio State, you and I were sitting there watching it, getting ready for our game, hanging out with Lugs watching the game, and they are torching Ohio State's defense in that first half. They haven't had the same passing game really since then.
They've had some injuries to some key pieces like Ian Thomas, the tight end, and Donovan Hale, the wide receiver.
That's been a big part of it. Also lost Nick Westbrook in that game to injury. Here's Devontae Williams breaking tackles, pushed out near the first down marker at the 40. He'll be just short. Third down and 1.
The running game pretty good for Indiana so far against what is usually a very stout Badger defense.
And got a stoppage here.
Delay a game warning on the offense. The offense was a substitution scenario by going into their sideline. It did not give the center judge the opportunity to get in a safe position to officiate the play. Replay, they're down.
Guys standing down here and looking at this, Richard Lego was upset because there wasn't a substitution for Wisconsin, so they were ready to go and was confused as to why the official wouldn't back away from the center.
With tempo, those things can happen.
On 3rd and 1, Hoosiers will run it, and it's a first down for Ellison. Brought down by Dixon. Ellison off to a good start. Right on the football so far for the Hoosiers.
They've had some success on the perimeter, too. Outside the tackles with some sweeps to the edge. That's where they're going to have to hang their hat in the run game because Wisconsin is extremely tough to run on between the tackles.
Number 5 in total defense. Number 5 in points allowed. First down for Indiana. It's 43. Lego dumps it off to Cobbs. And out of bounds after a gain of about 1. Nick Nelson in coverage.
I like the approach on this drive for Indiana. Mixing run pass, trying to run it on the perimeter. Right there, Lego looking downfield, nothing there, check it down. Live to play second down. See if you can't make this the 3rd down manageable.
Indiana trying to end a 36-game losing streak against top 10 teams. The last win came in '87 against Ohio State. Ellison not much here, wrapped up by Songapolu. Their huge nose guard is a terrific athlete.
You look at Mike DeBoard.
Can you see him through the fog there?
It's tough to see him. He's there, though, I promise. It's only about 7 feet from us. He's done a decent job mixing run and pass.
Complete anonymity.
Lego getting the check from the sideline. They got to hurry here. Play clock at 6 with 3rd and 7 for Indiana. Lego to throw and finds an open receiver. It's the tight end Thomas. We weren't sure that he was going to play. He's been hurt. They thought he wasn't going to go today, but he's out there for a big conversion.
And what a weapon he is. Working against the linebacker, number 53, TJ Edwards. That is matchup advantage Hoosiers every single time. An athletic tight end against one of the worst cover guys on the field for the Badgers.
19 catches on the year now for Thomas. Play action for Lego. Stepping up. He wanted to throw it deep. Now Cobbs is wide open on the sideline, and he's inside the 30 before he's pushed out of play. Wisconsin was thinking that was going to be a deep shot, and they lost Cobbs, who was hanging out here on the Indiana sideline.
Take what the defense gives you. That's what every quarterback should be thinking every time he drops back. Right there, the play told you to go deep, but they forgot about the outlet on the right-hand side.
So at the 25, a pitch to Ellison, being tracked down, but able to break a tackle. And boy, push late by Dixon. The officials step in there with now an injured player for Wisconsin. It's Chris Orr, starting linebacker. They've lost a lot of people this year on defense, including Jack Sitchie, who was lost for the year due to a knee injury in camp. Chris Orr down for the Badgers. Well, if you're working on the stadium, you get a free ticket. You can stand, sit wherever you want in the end zone to our right as they are doing renovations here to Memorial Stadium, which is in need of some renovations. Going to look pretty good when they're done. I was really impressed when we talked to Tom Allen, the head coach for Indiana, yesterday, and where this program is. And you think of Indiana over the years, they just never could be consistent. But even though they haven't won a Big Ten game this year, they have been in every single one of them, save the Penn State game. Lego rolling out, they'll throw it back, and he's got a wide open receiver. A touchdown for Devontae Williams. What a call out of the timeout.
Keep an eye on the running back the whole way. They fake it to him, and yet they still throw it to him on the wheel route out the backside. Outstanding design. So much movement going to the right. You try to sneak your running back out on the wheel route up the left. Nobody's home for Wisconsin. And Lego delivers a dime. Outstanding drive by Indiana.
Well, you talked about DeBoer mixing things up on that drive. That was terrific. But it all started with the interception when Wisconsin was driving. Hornibrook hit, picked off by Tigray Scales, and then the Hoosiers go the length of the field, capping it off with his touchdown pass to strike first here at home. Off an incredible comeback win and terrific play by J.T. Barrett, a guy that a lot of people were doubting. Ohio State beat Penn State. Now they go to Iowa City. That game on ESPN at 3:30 Eastern Time. The Buckeyes right back in the conversation for the college football playoff. Wisconsin number 9 according to the playoff committee. Miami, another undefeated team, 1 spot lower. They've obviously got the big game on ABC tonight against Virginia Tech. 7-0 Hoosiers. And the Badgers run it out of the end zone, and short of the 20-yard line is Tyndall. Wisconsin's won 22 straight against unranked opponents. They've won 9 straight games overall, which is the number 2 active streak in college football. 11 straight wins in the regular season in Big Ten play. And as mentioned, 9 straight wins overall. That's tied with Georgia. Miami, which we mentioned, is number 10 in the college football playoff rankings. They're number 1 with 12 straight wins. But you like the Hokies tonight, right?
I think the Hokies will get it done. We'll see. It's going to be a great game.
Play action pass for Hornibrook on first down, and dumps it off to the tight end Neville for a short gain as we check in with Cassidy Hubbard in the studio.
Thanks, Dave. AT&T Field past Penn State, looking to bounce back from their loss to Ohio State, visiting number 24 Michigan State. And Trace McSorley finds Deshaun Hamilton, who does the rest. 31 yards for the score. Nittany Lions up 7-0 in the battle for the Land Grant Trophy. Dave, Greg, Tom, back to you.
All right, Cassidy, looking forward to seeing you Wednesday for a little Warriors hoops in the Bay Area. I know you'll be watching.
A little self-promotion. I like it. Why not?
Promoting Cassidy, not me. And Jeff Van Gundy will be on the call as well. All right, here's Jonathan Taylor getting the call straight ahead on 2nd and 8. He gets about 3, so 3rd and 5 now for Wisconsin. Boy, it looked at on that first drive like the Badgers were just going to run all over Indiana, but the turnover changed everything. Paul Chryst, the head coach, told us this ranking number 9, not a big deal. Not worried about it. We got a long way to go. The players aren't worried about it. Nobody's upset. He's not really using it as a big deal for motivation. He thinks they're good enough without it. Pressure again on Hornibrook, and down he goes back at the 19-yard line. Robert McCray is there.
Pressure coming from everywhere. And the guy that pays it off is right there on the end of the line of scrimmage. Watch him move underneath and just have some motion. And that's twice now that Indiana's gotten home from the right-hand side, which is the better of the 2 sides for Wisconsin when it comes to pass protection. Outstanding job overloading the protection.
Lottie to punt. And it's fair caught around the 36-yard line by Timian. 45-yard punt, no return. College football on ABC at 3:30. Clemson, NC State. And this for the division title, but Clemson still in the playoff mix. Bigger game for them. Virginia Tech, Miami, as we mentioned, coming up tonight on ABC at 8 Eastern time. So you think Tech wins and you got Clemson rolling in Raleigh?
I think Clemson wins comfortably. Last year, remember NC State, they missed a field goal at the buzzer, ended up going to overtime. Clemson survived. They won't be sneaking up on Clemson this year. They're very aware of how capable NC State is, especially along that defensive front.
I think it's going to be a good game. I think NC State will play very well at home. Lego wide open. Timian, boy, if he throws that out in front of Timian, he might still be running because the middle of the field was wide open. It's a gain of close to 10. They'll mark him just short. 2nd and 1.
Man, you weren't kidding. There was a lot of green grass in front of Timian. If that ball would have hit him in stride. A big play that wasn't.
Lego throws again, and it's on the money to Cobbs. And this is why when we found out that Lego was going to start, Greg, wasn't that big of a concern, and should have been for Indiana fans.
And he's played a lot of football. 18th start today, has done so and played well against top-level competition in a nice rhythm so far.
Dan threw for over 400 yards against Ohio State. Here's a penalty marker. I mean, the coaches said when he got benched, they weren't impressed with how he
Prior to
took
the
the
ball
news.
being snapped, false start, offense number 62, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
I mean, you're a senior, you get benched for a freshman.
Yeah, it's not often either that your backup quarterback is a captain. I mean, the guy is extremely well respected in the locker room, and that respect has only grown over the last few weeks when he was demoted to the backup spot. Peyton Ramsey's earned it, but Richard Lego is beloved amongst his teammates. No denying that.
First and 15 after the 5-yard penalty. Another quick release by Lego and a catch by Timian. South Lake, Texas. I believe you're familiar with that area.
Big fan of South Lake, Texas.
Went to the same high school as you.
Luke Timian, South Lake Carroll Dragons. And I didn't know that. We've called an Indiana game. I didn't know that until yesterday. I've got to give my Dragon friend a little love. Coach Hal Wasson.
Lego into traffic, and boy, there's a flag, and there should be, because Nick Nelson was all over Simi Cobbs. It's a tough matchup. Nelson's good, but Cobbs got about 5 inches on him. It'll be a first down.
Pass interference. Defense, number 11. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
And that's a good call. Simi Cobbs, like you said, he's a big target. And that's the first time we've seen a slant by Indiana fall incomplete. As a result, it's because the defender was holding Cobbs as he tried to release.
Lego, play fake, going downtown, into the end zone. Just overshot. Luke Timian, a walk-on, transfer from Oklahoma State.
Really like this game plan for Indiana. You notice how quickly they're getting the ball out. They know they've got to set up some runs here and there through the pass, but it's difficult to rush the pass when the ball's out of your hands so quick.
You talking from the tunnel? There loses. Lego takes another shot. Here's another flag. That might be uncatchable, though. He was trying to hit Cobbs. They get Nelson for a second pass interference call. That ball is out of bounds, though. What did you think?
You got to take into account the catch radius of the wide receiver.
Defense number 11. Ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I don't think it was uncatchable. If you see, and you see the tug right there on the left arm of Cobbs, if he is running to that spot where the ball is going to fall incomplete, he can make a play on that if that left arm wasn't being grabbed behind. So that's a good call by the official, and the second time that they've called it on Nick Nelson, who needs to be smarter and a little less physical.
Here's Ellison, and able to break a tackle. He was trying to get outside, but Alec James made sure he didn't, along with Garrett Dooley. So it's a tackle for a loss back at the 16-yard line. I'm with you, though. Looking at that replay again, I think you're right. I think that was a good call on the interference. See if they snap it here on 2nd and 12 with 6 seconds to go in the quarter, or wait till after the commercial, and that's what they'll do. They have a 7-0 lead on the number 9 team in the country. And we'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Wisconsin down in the ball game for the first time since the opener against Utah State when they trailed 10-0. Obviously, that deficit didn't last. They scored 59 straight.
So if you're wondering if they can handle adversity, the answer is yes. Yeah. If the first game of the season is any indicator.
Meanwhile, Indiana has not handled adversity well. They haven't faced it yet today. They got a takeaway for just the 7th time this year, and that completely changed momentum. Now they got a chance to add to their lead. 2nd and 12 at the 16-yard line of Wisconsin. Lego to throw. Over the middle, almost intercepted by T.J. Edwards, a semifinalist for the Butkus Award.
Oh, man, trying to hit the crossing route isolation. You see Timian shake Edwards originally. That's the matchup you want. Unfortunately for the Hoosiers, Wisconsin was in zone. Played it perfectly by Edwards. Almost was rewarded with an interception.
Let's see if Indiana just plays it safe here, knowing they likely have 3. Or they try to force the ball, something that Lego has done in his career, making mistakes. And it is a short throw. Breaking a tackle, though, is Whop Philyor, one of the great names in the country. And he fights for extra yardage, so going to make it a short field goal. Or will Indiana go for it? It's 4th down at about 3.
You have to take the field goal. Absolutely have to. And field goals, remember, just a couple weeks ago against Michigan State, Indiana had to settle for a field goal multiple times inside the red zone. They ended up coming up short against the Spartans. Field goals aren't going to necessarily lead you to a victory. When they get down to this part of the field, they have to execute at a higher level, because Wisconsin will absolutely answer at some point or another.
Here's Griffin Oaks. And he makes it 10-0 with his 65th career field goal, the most of any active kicker in the Big Ten. Kick off your Week 9 NFL Sunday with the Countdown Crew at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. All the early breaking stories, injury updates, previews of every game right up to kickoff. It's also streaming live at the ESPN app. A lot of trades this week. Jimmy Garoppolo going from the Patriots to the Niners. Not expected to play though. Tomorrow.
I think they'll bring him along slowly. You would have to think that supporting cast in the Bay Area is not so good.
Neither is the offensive line.
Neither is the offensive line. But it's obviously a long-term projection, and I'm a big fan of Jimmy Garoppolo's. I think he's got a live arm. He's athletic, and you have to be in the NFL in this day and age. Very excited to see what he's going to do with an opportunity to lead a franchise.
Tyndall is deep for the Badgers on a short kickoff. He fields it on the 7-yard line. And up to the 27.
So far, Indiana has had a lot of success with their front 4. Getting home to create the interception right here on the TE stunt. And then overloading the protection on the right-hand side on that last 3rd down that resulted in the sack for McCray. Great job so far by defensive coordinator and head coach Tom Allen, mixing the looks, dropping back, and yet also bringing pressure from time to time, not playing the same coverage every single time as well, making Hornibrook think and react more so than sticking to his pre-snap progressions.
They'll go back to Jonathan Taylor on the ground. And he muscles his way out to the 31-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play.
Fellas, this is an important time of the game for this Indiana defense. A week ago, up 14-0 on the road at Maryland, and then all of a sudden you just kind of felt the air come out of the stadium with the defense. They've made a play in the end zone. They've created a turnover. Offense is capitalized. Defense has to step up big here.
Well, you know Wisconsin's not going to change what they do. Even facing a deficit as they run it again. Taylor dropped for a loss of about 4. Nate Hoff, Robert McCray getting the better of the offensive line for Wisconsin right now.
Just a great job by this Indiana defense. I mean, the right side completely reestablished the line of scrimmage and puts Wisconsin in a very difficult spot here on 3rd and long. Look at the right side. Look at 91. Robinson and 74, Hoff and McCray there on the outside at defensive end. I mean, they completely pushed this Badger front back and set up a difficult 3rd down for Hornibrook.
This is where the Hoosiers want Hornibrook having to make a play with his arm, and he does complete. A.J. Taylor all the way near the 40-yard line. Terrific throw facing pressure by Hornibrook.
Outstanding job by Hornibrook, recognizing where he had an advantage. He knew that he had Taylor, some speed right there in the slot on a vertical route against a safety. That's advantage Badgers from a matchup standpoint, and a terrific throw with Hornibrook having a little pressure in his lap.
They get 32 yards to the 39-yard line of Indiana. Back to throw again. He's going to check it down here to Fumagalli, who does well to get back to the line of scrimmage and actually get positive yardage. 28th catch for the former walk-on tight end.
I like the thought process there by offensive coordinator Joe Rudolph. You get a big play, you break it open a little bit, you have momentum, now you're in a positive part of the field to potentially take a shot. Nothing open downfield, so a good job by Indiana's defense, but I like the aggressive nature there on first down to try to steal a big play.
Run it again. Here's Taylor. Gets only a couple. They've done a pretty good job against Taylor since that opening drive. I mean, Taylor taking the Big Ten by storm. True freshman. Originally committed to Rutgers, and the concern with him was they weren't sure how fast he was. Nobody really knew. And then he was on the track team, and he lit it up. And then he was on everybody's radar. He's the Big Ten leading rusher.
And he's going to be a star. Just another in a long line of incredible running backs that have gone through Madison.
3rd and 6. Hornibrook with time. It's complete. First down. And Cephas inside the 20-yard line.
It was just a great job up front. More pressure from Indiana, but look at how Wisconsin's offensive line. They pick it all up on the right-hand side. Everybody's on the correct defender, and they have man coverage in the back end. Cephas just has to win on a crossing route. Does a great job of doing that, getting some separation and making some yards after catch.
Cephas shaken up. He was questionable all week. Is out there. Play action. Hornibrook has a man wide open. An easy touchdown to Alec Ingold. His 12th career touchdown. This guy's a fullback. He's got 12 touchdowns to his name.
Hard play action, and it just allows nothing but wide open space for Ingold to go right through the defenders. You actually look at the defenders, they're thinking that this is going to be a lead block. And if you go back and look at Dutra, the safety, he lowers his head awaiting a collision. Ingold goes right by him, and he's wide open for the touchdown. Huge drive by the Badgers.
Gaglianone on for the point after. 10-7 Indiana.
Great play call by Joe Rudolph on that last drive. Hornibrook finding the seldom used backup fullback Ingold for the touchdown.
While that last drive was all about Alex Hornibrook, 4 of 4, including a touchdown pass, the Badgers were all about running the football. Here are the freshman 1,000-yard rushers all-time at Wisconsin. Interesting that Melvin Gordon is not on that list, but they've had some great ones in Madison.
There's no denying that. The fact that Jonathan Taylor, 1,000 career yards in just his 7th game as a true freshman. There's only a few guys that have done that. One's named Evan Smith, one name's Marshall Falk, one name's Adrian Peterson.
Those guys were good. Some of them still are. Devontae Williams out past the 20. Here's Cassidy.
Thanks, Dave. AT&T Field pass back to East Lansing, and back and forth they go. Tied at 7 on 4th and 8. Trace McSorley finds Saeed Blacknell, who breaks a bunch of tackles on his way to pay dirt. It's 14-7 Penn State after 1. Dave, Greg, Tom, back to you.
And both those teams coming off a loss. Penn State and Michigan State 4-1, a game back of Ohio State for the top spot in the East. Wisconsin with a healthy lead in the West at 5-0, with wins already over Northwestern and Nebraska. Ranked 9th in the initial college football playoff ranking, but trailing 10-7 to IU. And Lego finds Timian across the middle, and maybe a touchdown-saving tackle at the 37-yard line by Natrell Jamerson.
They went to this play a little earlier, and Lego threw it behind Timian. This time he hits him right between the numbers to allow the yards after catch. Great start.
Throw to this side of the field to Devontae Williams. He's able to shake a would-be tackler out to midfield. What a meteoric rise it's been at defensive coordinator. Jim Leonhard 3 years ago was in the NFL as a player. And he retired, just went to Madison to live. That's where he played, obviously. Last year he's a position coach, and now he's calling the defense.
I think he's a star in the profession.
Here's Williams trying to get the first down. There's a penalty marker down. You played with Jim Leonhard, what, 5 years ago in the NFL?
In 2011. We were on the Jets.
Holding. Offense, number 54. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. Second down.
Did you know when you were playing with him this guy was going to be a coach? Did you have that sense?
I had no idea that he'd be a coach, but knew that he was one of the best football minds I'd ever been around as a player, especially as a defender, with what he was able to process, how quickly he was able to process in Rex Ryan's system. I mean, he was literally a quarterback on the field and could anticipate plays and say, hey, they're doing this there, they're doing that there, watch this route here based on the split. The guy was like a Mensa member there on the defensive side of the field. He's incredible and has obviously done a great job early in his career in Madison.
Rex Ryan would let him call the defense sometimes in preseason games. Lego in trouble, and down he goes. Leonhard able to get those defensive linemen some pressure there. It's a loss of 10 back at the 31 with Alec James. 2 sacks last week, 2 sacks this week.
Yeah, he just completely overpowers the center, Hunter Littlejohn, and pushes the pile right back. I mean, look at Littlejohn. There's just nothing you can do as a center when you have a big 6'3", 275-pound athlete at defensive end breathing fire.
3rd 21. They'll just keep it on the ground here with Lego running, and he takes a shot. Ryan Connolly on the hit. You can't lose him. You're already without your starter, Peyton Ramsey. And so Wisconsin's defense off the field.
That's a great series for Wisconsin. They obviously gave up the big play on the slant to Timian on the first play of the series, but they've tightened up pretty quickly on the ensuing 3 downs to force the punt.
Good punt, and over the shoulder grab by Nick Nelson. Nelson brought down around the 27. Just to finish up on the Jim Leonhard thing, how about 5'8", 188-pound safety, 10 years in the NFL as a player, and as a D coordinator, he's got these guys balling. Finger looking good right now. Alec James with a big sack on the last possession. You know how a lot of guys, when they get a sack, they make the sign for eating? Well, yeah. Alec James is done eating. He's just licking his fingers after.
Absolutely. He's enjoying. But the best part is the camaraderie. Look at this.
Songapolu knew it.
Oh, he loves it. He said, I haven't seen that one. That's new. National televised game. You got to break out a new sack dance.
He's still talking about it.
Songapolu loves it. Oh, that's classic. I love it.
Something great about the big boys doing
Oh, it's the best. Right? Well, that was a good opportunity for the defensive line to celebrate together, because the offensive line of Wisconsin, they celebrated last week when one of their own.
No doubt.
When Michael Dieter scored a touchdown. I've never seen 350-pound guys jump and run as fast as they did after that celebration.
And Taylor not going to get back to the line of scrimmage. Loss of 1 on the play. Paul Chryst is in his 3rd year as the head coach. He was a player here at Wisconsin. 84 to 88 was an assistant under Barry Alvarez and then Brett Bielema, and then went with Mike Riley. He spent some time in the NFL and Oregon State. Named head coach after his time at Pittsburgh. He's a Madison native. Got a couple brothers, Jeep and Rick. Rick, former commissioner of the MAC. Jeep, an NFL assistant coach. All Madison guys. Hornibrook throws, and it's caught, and then the ball comes out. They'll rule it incomplete.
Yeah, Paul Chryst is, I don't think you could think of a more perfect fit to be the head coach of Wisconsin. Totally understands the culture, has a great feel for what they want to do offensively. He's an extension of the fan base, and obviously is just so tied in to the community. He's been absolutely outstanding over the last couple of years, but his team facing a 3rd and long. The 2nd series in a row in which Hornibrook's going to have to try to convert through the air.
Indiana bringing some pressure. It's picked up. Hornibrook throws incomplete. He was trying to dump it off to Ibrahim. Ball kind of looked funny, left his hand awkwardly. And so Wisconsin has to punt midway through the second quarter.
Indiana bringing a corner pressure off the right-hand side. And they didn't have enough to block it. It was just strange the way Hornibrook was stepping up. He had Cephas, too, on the over route wide open. Looked like he was a little indecisive as to where he wanted to go with the football.
Connor Allen, who's listed as the backup punter and did not punt earlier, kicks this one here. Timian gets drilled. Wow. Terrible mistake by Wisconsin. What is Tyndall thinking there? Unless he got blocked into, that's got to be the only reason here, is he got pushed hard into Timian, because you can't make that mistake. Understandably, Timian shaken up. Let's see if Tyndall gets shoved into him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, James pushes him right in the back. Because it's such a violent collision, they'll probably still throw the flag, but Isaac James clearly pushes Tyndall into Timian, the return man.
And you can keep an eye, too. I mean, obviously he got pushed in, but they might take a look at this for targeting, too, because that's a defenseless player, Timian is, as a guy that's catching a punt. Was it a forcible blow to the head or neck area? I think that's something they might take a look at, too, but glad to see Timian sitting up. And
he was blocked illegally, okay. Though. He was blocked.
Yeah, he was blocked right into him. I mean, glad the officials are taking their time to figure out what's going to go on with this call.
I think they picked the flag up because of the illegal block in the back getting shoved into the return man, despite how hard that collision was. Jeff Cervinsky is our referee.
There is no foul for kick catch interference because the player was blocked into the receiver. We have a sideline warning. Indiana on the bench. The ball will be first down and 10. Indiana's football.
And that's a great job by this officiating crew. Just a great job. It's not easy to see everything. You see the collision and everybody wants to ooh and ah, but that's a great job diagnosing it and taking their time making the correct call.
Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. No doubt those guys, maybe they don't care, but they certainly thought it was going to be warmer. It was supposed to be about 65, and it's in the low 50s. Indiana does not have a win over an AP top 10 team in 30 years. Wow. 36 in a row they've lost.
That is crazy.
But they have the lead here by 3 midway through the second quarter, and they run on first down. Ellison dropped after a short gain, lost the ball. And Wisconsin has it, Ferguson, but they're going to rule the running back down.
Second down.
Oh, man. Look at how Ellison has that ball in his left hand. Oh, yeah, and you can see he has it. His rear end goes down, and then the ball pops up. Good job by the officials, but that was a bang-bang play and could have been catastrophic for Indiana's offense.
The previous play is under further review.
We'll look at it. The only thing is a defender was trying to strip it while he was still up. Did the ball come out here before he went down?
This is a good angle at it. And you can see right there he's still in his possession, or at least it appears as though it's still in his possession at that point. And of course, clearly when he's down, you see the ball pop up and go vertical. Another look at it. Is the ball moving right there?
It's Tyler Johnson's trying to rip it out, but I don't know that Ellison has lost possession of it because the ruling in the field was he's down.
Right.
Not enough evidence to overturn it, I would think.
It has to be indisputable video evidence to overturn. I mean, you can definitely see the ball starting to get dislodged right there, and that's prior to him being down. Man, that's close. I mean, I could actually see them overturning this. I really could, because that ball's moving away. See right there, that ball's out.
Is he down though?
Right there.
Is he down?
See, look at the ball out, and it doesn't look as though he's down at that point.
don't know, though. Does he still have, he's still hanging on to it, though. Does he lose possession, though? I mean, even though Johnson's pulling on the ball, did Ellison lose possession?
And that angle right there is probably the best angle that we have. As you see that ball start to go out.
So you think this should be overturned?
I think it should be overturned.
I don't think so. I think he was down. I don't think they're.
And usually if it's down the middle and it's 50-50 and you can see both sides, usually the call on the field stands. But right there, that ball looked like it was really moving away from Ellison. It almost looked like it was in the possession of the defender. Man, this is going to be a huge, huge call.
It has to be, as you said, indisputable video evidence beyond all doubt.
Right.
So there's, I think, still doubt.
There is some doubt. There's no denying that. I really could. I could see this one going both ways.
And sometimes when they take this long, that means that they're looking, okay, if it is a turnover, where do you spot the ball? What's the clock at? And maybe that's what's going on. Usually for a call that stands, they don't take this long. So that should be telling if you're a Wisconsin fan.
Yeah, and look one more time. And you can see 59 Johnson. Is that ball in his possession? I don't know. It's tough to tell. Let's see what the officials see.
After further review, the runner was not down prior to the ball coming out. The ball was recovered by Wisconsin on the 21-yard line. It'll be first down and 10, Wisconsin. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 7:02.
Craig, I'm really surprised that they felt that was beyond all doubt.
I'm actually not. If you see that last angle that we showed and you see that ball dislodge, it's almost in the possession of Tyler Johnson. And then as Ellison hit the ground, the ball pops up. So it looks as though that's when the ball possession was lost. But the possession was actually lost prior to that.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct, Indiana bench. Half the distance to the goal.
Well, that's good. Remember, they had the warning earlier. They were warned just a couple of plays ago. And that's why they just got the flag. That will put the ball at the 10-yard line of Indiana with the Badgers looking to take the lead.
Man, what a huge turn of events.
It's not first and goal. They can still get a first down. They're just outside the 10. And they got Jonathan Taylor in at tailback. 11 rushing touchdowns, leading the Big Ten. They give it to him here. He makes it to the 8-yard line. Tripped up there by Scales.
This is equally as critical for both teams when you consider, fellas, Wisconsin has struggled to put together sustained drives outside of the opening stanza of the first quarter. So to get a field position bump like this is exactly what the doctor ordered for this Wisconsin offense.
They'll spread it out here. 5 wide on second down and 7 at the Indiana 8-yard line. Hornibrook throws into the end zone. Pulled in for a touchdown by Cephas, and the Badgers have the lead.
What a play by Alex Hornibrook, the quarterback, and Cephas making the contested catch on the fade. What a huge turn of events in the span of just 3 plays.
6th touchdown catch of the season for the sophomore from Macon, Georgia. The former high school basketball player, didn't play a lot of football in high school, become a very good receiver for Wisconsin, gives them their first lead.
Look at how Hornibrook hangs in there. They overload the protection again, and Robert McCray is unblocked. The tackle does the right job. Inside fade route, giving you all kinds of green grass to the corner. Not a good throw by Hornibrook. It's inside and low. That's in large part due to the contact that occurred in the backfield. Just a tremendous job by Cephas. Going vertical, making the contested catch, and reeling in what is a huge, huge play, capitalizing on that sudden change momentum provided by their defense.
And Tom Allen's still upset, guys. I don't know if he's upset about getting flagged for the sideline issue or because they overturned the ruling in the field that the runner was down. And the kickoff goes through the end zone, a touchback. Let's go to Cassidy.
Thanks, Dave. Jersey Mike's a performance above, and number 60, Mississippi State having fits with 2 and 6 UMass. Ross Comas to a wide open Andy Isabella, who puts his head down and turns on the burner. 69-yard score. Minutemen up 2013 on the SEC Network. Dave, Greg, Tom.
Wow. How about that one?
UMass.
Looking ahead, Mississippi State to Alabama, maybe?
You think? And being told how great they were after that dominant performance against Texas A&M. I believe they call that rat poison in the SEC. Is that not correct?
Here's Devontae Williams, and he gets maybe a yard as they try to run off the right side. Just a moment ago, we got Tom Allen again. Not sure if he's upset about the penalty or upset about replay, but he wouldn't let the side judge leave. Lego, pass is hot, incomplete. Tried to hit Fillier, 3rd and long.
Yeah, he's hot. There's no denying that. Felt as though they were in control, and then obviously you fumble. 2 plays later they score. They get the ball on the 11-yard line. You have a personal foul. You got to get your composure on the sideline and for your offense as well. You got to display a little more poise as they move forward, because it's a long football game.
Lego steps up, being chased, gets rid of the pass, and it's caught but short of the first down. Cobb's wrapped up by Nelson, and so Indiana has to punt. And Lego a little shaken up.
He got rolled up a little bit there, guys, right in front of me. Another quick injury update on defense, too. Chris Orr out for this game for Wisconsin.
There's a hit by Tyler Johnson, who had the forced fumble on the last Indiana possession.
It just landed a little awkwardly as he tried to escape the pocket. Lego not the most fleet of foot.
This is returnable for Nelson, but he muffs it. Falls on the ball back near the 20-yard line. He looked like he was starting to run before that ball even got there. Now for today's Aflac trivia question. Aflac! Wisconsin, one of 2 FBS schools with alumni as head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator. We asked this in our production meeting yesterday, and Luganville and McElroy, before you can get the question out, answer it correctly.
Before you even asked the question, I had a feeling that this was the direction that you were going to go. I do know the answer, but I think it's really important to look at Wisconsin and appreciate that they have a coordinator, both coordinators and a head coach, that so closely resemble everything about this program. They grew up in the program. They know exactly what it needs to operate moving forward.
Play fake, Hornibrook to throw on first down, and it's pulled in. First down grab by Fumagalli, the tight end of the 33-yard line. All right, Luke, you want to take a shot at the answer?
No, I already know the answer.
What is it?
Let's let America do it.
Well, they can't answer. They don't have a microphone. What do you
Tell them to
got?
send in their Twitters.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
I know all
answer
the
it.
Twitters.
It's
Give me the
Air
question
Force.
again. I'll try one more.
No, forget it. I'm answering. Air
You're
Force.
out. You lose, Tom.
I didn't lose. I wasn't going to spoil it. I
you
did it
lost.
last week.
Nope. You're buying dinner. You lost.
And I introed the Aflac better than Dave did.
Well done.
That's true. You hit the post. You hit right before the quack last week. Indiana offside, free play. Down goes the quarterback. But this won't matter. Scales was clearly in the neutral zone. Flag down.
Offside, defense number 8. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Greg, I loved your point about the assistant coaches embodying Wisconsin football.
Yeah.
Coaching staff with 13 former Wisconsin players. I mean, they've done it the same way for so many years.
Right. 3 decades almost. You know, they've had it under obviously Barry Alvarez and Brett Bielema, and they've just done such a great job. When you turn on the tape, you know what Wisconsin's going to look like before you even roll it. They're physical, they're proud, and they love to establish the line of scrimmage.
Taylor on 1st and 5. And he can't shake a defender. A late flag comes in as Dutra went for a ride on the leg of Jonathan Taylor. It'll be a first down unless this flag is on Wisconsin.
Holding. Offense number 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Tenbo Benshaw, 3-year starter at right guard.
And this right side for Wisconsin has not been as good today as they normally are. Benshaw and David Edwards. Of course, you have a penalty here on the hold. But they've also gotten overloaded in protection a few times. And I look at that right side. That's really the strength of this team. David Edwards at right tackle. He's a future first-round pick.
So we had 1st and 10, then 1st and 5, now 1st and 8 after the holding call. And on the jet sweep, it's Taylor. And Taylor has the first down to the 45-yard line. And did you see, speaking of a jet sweep, did you see him turn on the Jets there when he turned upfield?
Yeah, left leg injury. I don't think we need to worry about that anymore. There.
When you watch him from down here, guys, and Dave, you and I had Melvin Gordon an awful lot. But this guy's built more like James White, but moves like Melvin Gordon. That's a pretty scary notion.
Man, I loved Melvin Gordon as a player.
Out of Kenosha, Wisconsin, Melvin Gordon. Taylor breaking tackles, and there he goes past the 30-yard line. Taylor powers inside the 10-yard line. There is a penalty marker back at the 35, though. And Wisconsin is acting if it's coming back.
Yeah, they know, and the coaches know it too.
Holding. Offense number 87. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
That's on Cephas, blocking downfield.
Yeah, keep an eye on him as he's engaged with the defender. Man, that is a really unfortunate call for Wisconsin. Yeah, you could see that right hand. That right hand grabs on. From the first angle, it didn't look too egregious. From the second angle, I see what the officials saw.
I don't think he needed to do that. I don't think Andre Brown, he had his back turn, was going to be able to turn around and run and catch Jonathan Taylor. Chase Dutra is injured for Indiana. Okay, a lot of talk, obviously, not just in Madison, but nationally, about Wisconsin being number 9 in college football playoff ranking. Right. That, you know, the light schedule, BYU not as good as people thought coming into the year. What do you think so far? Is it accurate to be number 9 right now, you think?
To this point, because the committee values who you've beat. And to this point, Wisconsin hasn't played any of the top level teams in college football, so it's fair for them to be where they're at. Doesn't mean it won't change. They control their own destiny. There's not a lot of teams in college football that can truly say that. They can win, obviously, the Big Ten West. They can play against Ohio State or Penn State or even Michigan State in the Big Ten Championship. And that might be the best win of the season if Wisconsin can, of course, win that ball game. And I think that Wisconsin's in a great spot because Paul Chryst can play the card. Hey, nobody believes in you, nobody trusts you, and that puts a nice chip on the shoulder of all of his players.
College football playoff rankings brought to you by Allstate. TCU dropping to number 8. Well, not dropping. They would have been in the top 4, but lost last week to Iowa State. They got Texas on ESPN tonight. Ohio State 3:30 at Iowa. You got Oklahoma State at 4 Eastern, Bedlam. Well, Wisconsin still has Michigan on the schedule, but that's not as big because the Wolverines have lost games. They have Iowa and Madison next week. Hornibrook taking a shot down the field, and it is bobbled incomplete. Tried to hit Danny Davis. Jonathan Crawford in coverage did a nice job.
Crawford got away with one a little bit here. Look at Crawford and see him pull that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Crawford in the back end. If he doesn't tug on Davis, Davis could be going to the house. That's a good job trying to stretch the defense, especially on 1st and 2. But man, Indiana's defense fortunate they got away. That could have easily been a pass interference.
So we have 1st and 5, 1st and 8, 1st and 2 all on this drive here on 2nd down. It's a 1st down run for Groshek. They call him the technician because he does everything right. Walk-on former quarterback. He's a great high school quarterback at Amherst. Played on the same high school team as Wisconsin center Tyler Biotish. They turned him into a running back here as a walk-on.
He's done well for him, too, and they thought he might have a pretty big role today, given the fact that Jonathan Taylor weren't sure just how much he would be used given the injury to that left leg.
Groshek still in on 1st down at the 39 of Indiana. Here's Groshek again, and he gets drilled as another flag comes in. Scales with a hit. Looks like it's going to be the 3rd holding call on this drive for Wisconsin.
Holding. Offense number 85. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
So much was made, guys, of Jonathan Taylor and whether or not he could go today and the difference in the offense. And as we're talking about the college football playoff and the caliber of the type of team Wisconsin is, I think there is a significant difference in their tone, their ability to create explosive plays, move the pile. When Jonathan Taylor's in the game, it is a different offense.
He's a star. There's no doubt, Tom. He is a difference maker, as good as any back in college football.
Already got 100 yards on the day as that pass is incomplete. Intended for Fumagalli. It'll be 2nd and 20. I mean, look, Saquon Barkley's great, and he gets a ton of hype for good reason. I'm not sure Jonathan Taylor is that far behind.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
I totally agree. The thing is, we've become conditioned to look at Wisconsin running backs and say, oh, well, it's just another Wisconsin running back. He's the product of a system, and he's doing what everyone before him has done. But when you really look at the tape and you evaluate the quality of the talent, the runs, the way he sets up blockers, I think he's absolutely outstanding, and the best is yet to come.
Hornibrook on 2nd and 20, gets hit and sacked. Back at the 49, Tigray Scales, who's been all over the field today, already an interception, gets his 5th sack of the season.
Indiana's defense has really found something with pressure on the right-hand side. They've done it a number of different times. You see Covington coming off the edge and Scales coming around, wrapping after the running back went to block the add-on Green Dog, and he gets the sack. They like something that they've seen to this point. Of course, it's to Hornibrook's backside, being a lefty, so it makes sense that that's the route that they've gone. But if I'm Wisconsin here, just run a screen. Simple screen to the halfback. See if you can't get some yardage.
Or just run the ball, which they do. Taylor don't know where to go. Covington in the backfield. Will Indiana call timeout here? Well, if they're going to let the clock run, a little surprised they won't use a timeout. Minute 14 to go. And Wisconsin could take this clock down to 40 before they kick.
Has everything to do with the field position, I would think. Given the fact that Wisconsin's near the 50-yard line, Timian, the punt returner, his heels are at the 10. It's unlikely that Indiana's going to get a favorable spot. To try to go the length of the field against this defense in 2 minutes, it's not easy.
Timian back around his 10-yard line. And again, Wisconsin taking the play clock down here as much as possible. Not a great kick, and it's fair caught by Timian around the 15-yard line. Capital One halftime report coming up. A weather delay between Penn State and Michigan State, and we talked about UMass giving Mississippi State trouble, and some big games in the ACC with Clemson at NC State and Virginia Tech at Miami tonight. Like Wisconsin, the committee clearly not convinced with Miami. The Hurricanes have had some close wins. The win in Tallahassee doesn't look as big because Florida State struggled.
Right. You can make an argument that Miami's best wins against Toledo. And Toledo's a good football team, but they're from the MAC.
And Indiana just keeps it on the ground here. And that might be the final play of the first half, unless Wisconsin decides to call a timeout. Indiana led 10-0. Wisconsin has scored the last 14 points. So that'll do it for the first half here in Bloomington. The Badgers trying to go to 9-0. And we'll return. Catch you up in everything in the Capital One halftime report after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Welcome back to college football presented by Kay Jewelers. You're watching the Big Ten on ABC. Undefeated Wisconsin, 8-0 for the first time since 2004. One of just 5 unbeatens left in college football, with a 4-point lead over Indiana after trailing 10-0 early on. Rushing yards, really the big difference in the game. 117, 99 of those for true freshman Jonathan Taylor. Just 14 rushing yards for Indiana. Each team with a turnover. Wisconsin drove the length of the field, was going to look like score on an impressive opening drive, but Alex Hornibrook was picked off in the end zone, and then Indiana struck first. Wisconsin will get the ball here in the third quarter. Derek Tyndall is deep for the Badgers, ranked 9th in the initial college football playoff rankings. And Tyndall thought about bringing it out, but did not. So a touchback, and Wisconsin will start on the 25. Dave Pasch, Greg McElroy, and Tom Luginbill. Greg, what'd you think of the Badgers' performance in the first half?
So far, they've really made a couple mistakes, obviously. But in the passing game, they've missed a throw or two that could have been big plays. And, of course, the interception in the red zone. But very methodical on the ground. They did get stopped a couple times towards the end of the first half with a few penalties, some holdings. So they can look at themselves and say, hey, look, we got everything in the playbook going for us right now. We're just shooting ourselves in the foot by making careless mistakes. So they got to be feeling good about the position they're in.
Indiana's been so close all year long, but no Big Ten wins yet. Taylor off the right side, over 100 yards now. Our Pacific Life game summary. This is a turnover we were talking about that shifted momentum early on, but it looked like Wisconsin was going to run all over them. Lego converting with the touchdown pass to Devontae Williams. But then a turnover by the Hoosiers inside their own 20-yard line, plus a penalty made it 1st and 10 on the 11. Hornibrook with a touchdown pass to Cephas. And the Badgers lead by 4. 4-yard run for Jonathan Taylor. I'll give it to Taylor again on 2nd and 6. Here comes a flag. Wisconsin had 3 holding calls on 1 possession late in the second quarter. Another Badger foul here.
Holding. Offense number 85. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. 2nd down.
Well, fellas, when you take a look at this Wisconsin offense, talking to Tom Allen, the head coach at Indiana, he wanted to create some negative plays. Greg, you mentioned attacking the right side of that offensive line, get Wisconsin behind the chains. Now, Wisconsin's helped with some penalties, but the game plan so far on defense for Indiana is exactly going as planned. Now, offensively, they got to sustain drives to get some points on the board.
And they got a couple of receivers. A.J. Taylor wide open in the middle of the field. The first down to the 42. That's a gain of 23 there. Taylor's had a couple of big plays down the field.
A good job by Alex Hornibrook. Starting the second half, knowing he's behind the sticks, and you anticipate that in-breaking route by Taylor. Wide open zone in front for a big play. Those are the type of throws that Hornibrook's going to have to consistently make. If this team wants to win the Big Ten, and they have the personnel to do so, Hornibrook's got to be dialed in on those intermediate throws.
Hornibrook to throw again. This is a short pass, dumping it off to Groshek. And how about the hurdle by the walk-on? Getting 7 yards. Let's go back to Hornibrook for a minute, because you know, last year he split time as a freshman with Bart Houston. He really wasn't the guy all year, but he just won. I mean, he's won 14 straight starts.
Right.
At quarterback, that's the longest active streak in the country.
And he's a very capable player. The problem is he's a little hot and cold. Some performances, he's off the charts. I mean, dialed in. He was 18-19 against BYU and looked really good against Maryland. And then he's other performances like Nebraska where he was really shaky.
Taylor gets the first down. The 43-yard line.
As long as they keep feeding that big horse, though, Greg, I think that eases the tension a little bit in the passing game. The challenge is you might have Taylor behind you, but if you get behind the chains like they've been today, what Hornibrook really struggles with is getting the ball vertically downfield. You're not going to have a lot of explosive plays when you have to throw it in this offense.
He just has to make 3 or 4 big throws down the field a game. If you complete half those, that's a job well done. And a lot of those, given the run game and the attention the defense has to play to it, those can be touchdowns.
Taylor again through a crease, and he's wrapped up at the 37. He's over 1,300 yards now on the season with a handful of games to go for the true freshman. Tied the FBS record for 1,000 yards in the fewest games. In his first 7, he was already at 1,000.
He is really special. I know we've seen so many good backs in Madison over the years, but I really believe it. By the time it's all said and done, I wouldn't be shocked that Jonathan Taylor had a Heisman on his mantle and being remembered as one of the better backs they've ever had.
Here he is again, picking up the first down of the 37 more yards. Should he be in the Heisman mix right now?
Yes, he should. The problem is we're conditioned to think, well, Wisconsin running back, they all run for 1,200 yards in 7 games. Well, that's not necessarily true. If you take into account that he's a true freshman and he's really starting to grasp all the little intricacies of playing the position, he should be in the Heisman conversation right now. Now, should he be leading it? No, but he should absolutely be in the top 5.
If they make it to the college football playoff, he might win it. That's asking a lot. But a great run here by Taylor for a gain of 5. Football wasn't his only sport. He was a track star in high school. Got great vision.
That's the big thing, is his vision and the way he sets up blockers. And his power, too. For a young guy, he runs right through tacklers and makes it look very easy. And this offense now has gotten a little creative. They try to find new ways to get him in open space. And when he's in open space, it's trouble for the defenders.
Cephas banged up.
We welcome you back to Bloomington. Quintez Cephas getting rolled up on that last play by his offensive lineman, Bo Benshaw. And he had to walk back to the sideline, putting no weight on that right leg. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he's capable of returning. Very, very disappointed to see that. He has been by far their best wide receiver, I think, this season. An inexperienced group now with him potentially out for the game.
Well, man, you saw that reaction. It's as if he knew it was really bad. Here's a throw. Downfield, tipped and incomplete. And a flag. Fumagalli interfered with by Andre Brown.
Pass interference. Defense number 14. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
An easy call from the officials there. Obviously, Brown just trying to tackle Fumagalli instead of turning around and trying to play the ball in the air. The contact happens, especially on underthrows, but as a defender, you have to turn around and try to make a play on the ball, and then you might be given the benefit of the doubt. But a good call by this Big Ten officiating crew.
And now it's 1st and goal on the 10, looking for 21 unanswered points here. And Taylor is the deep back. Straight ahead. Taylor keeps the feet moving. I think that's the other thing about Taylor. I mean, you showed his vision. We talked about his speed, but this guy's not afraid to run between the tackles and put his head down.
He finishes runs and he pushes the pile. I mean, for a guy that is young and hasn't really had a huge amount of time in the Badgers strength and conditioning program, imagine what he's going to be like a year from now. I mean, as he gets stronger and more physically mature, I mean, he's a handful already. He's going to be a superstar here in the years to come.
Well, that's what I was saying. If Wisconsin wins out and gets to the college football playoff, he's going to have close to 2,000 yards. He's going to be in the Heisman discussion. That's a big if, though. Badgers still obviously have to play the champ of the East if they make it to the Big Ten title game. Taylor on 2nd and goal, stopped about the 3-yard line. It's a big third down here for Indiana, trying to hold the Badgers to 3 and keep it a 1-score game.
It's so demoralizing. And Greg, you mentioned it in the first half where you don't even have to turn on the tape. You know what they're going to do. You know what's coming at you. And no matter how you line up, you still can't stop it. And that can be very, very hard on the defense over the course of 4 quarters, which is what Tom Allen was worried about, them wearing you down, even if you're in a tight game with them.
Like you said, Tom, it's hard in the first quarter. It's almost impossible in the 4th quarter. But a big third down here. I'm curious to see if Wisconsin decides to put it in the air.
They have 7 tight ends and 6 fullbacks in the game. Hornibrook rolling out here in 3rd and goal, throws it away. A stand by Indiana. Chris Covington got pressure to force a field goal try. Does it not look like, seriously, there's 18 guys on the field and they're all weigh 300 pounds for Wisconsin on that?
7 tight ends and 6 fullbacks. They were in 13 personnel, which is interesting enough. But no, 7 plus 6 is not how you get to that number. No, that was big personnel all the way, trying to get a rollout to Hornibrook's throwing side, and well covered by Indiana.
I mean, even the kicker looks like a fullback. 230-pound Rafael Gaglianone. 21-yard try. Not an easy angle. And he sneaks it inside the left upright. It's a 7-point Badger lead. Tom Allen, the head coach and D coordinator for the Hoosiers, excited about the stand.
Welcome back to Bloomington. Wisconsin up 17-10 over the Hoosiers. And this is a quick update for you in terms of wide receiver for Wisconsin. Cephas goes into the locker room. They're going to take x-rays, looking at the right leg below the knee. They're not saying it's a knee, but they're looking at the right leg below the knee. Fellas, bad news for the Badgers. That's an explosive weapon they'll be missing here in the second half.
He was emotional. He's been through so much. His father was shot and killed a couple years ago, Andre Taylor. And he has his dad's initials on his helmet. A player that has been such a difference maker for Wisconsin. That is a huge loss for the Badgers. Got a touchdown catch today.
Yeah, just heartbreaking. We just hope that those x-rays and everything turns out to be okay. But given the disappointment on his face, I'm very concerned about what that injury might be. Hate that for him and hate that for this Wisconsin team that really needs him, an explosive weapon on the perimeter.
Devontae Williams is deep for Indiana. He'll field it on the 1-yard line. And he'll get taken down at the 17. Joe Ferguson was down there for Wisconsin along with Tyler Mays. College football on ABC coming up next with Clemson in Raleigh to face NC State at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Then in prime time, Virginia Tech at Miami. The Hurricanes, like Wisconsin, undefeated, but not getting the respect from the committee that they feel they should get. They're number 10. Big time ACC and playoff implications. Clemson's already lost once, can't lose again. Indiana takes over short of its 20-yard line. Richard Lago starting today for the injured Peyton Ramsey, and Lago gets hit, and down he goes back at the 6-yard line. Leon Jacobs is there, playing his 54th career game, tying a Wisconsin record. Well, the Badgers trailed Utah State 10-0. It's the second time this year it's happened when they've outscored opponents 76-0 following that deficit.
Unfortunately for the Badgers, the score at the beginning of the game starts at 0-0. If it started 10-0 in favor of the opposition, maybe they'd come out of the gates a little stronger. Man, they've done a great job of bouncing back both times.
On 2nd and 20, they run Williams, and he's going to lose yardage here. Nick Nelson in run support makes the hit at the 5, so they've gone backwards 12 yards on this drive. It's 3rd and 22.
And the most important drive of the game is arguably the first drive of the second half. Wisconsin goes right down the field and scores. Now Indiana backed up inside their own 5 after consecutive negative plays. Early going says the Wisconsin Badgers have made some great adjustments.
Lago to throw from his own end zone. Dumps it off through the hands of Brookins. Incomplete. So they have to punt from their own end zone. things could get sideways here for Indiana. They, as we mentioned, haven't scored since early on, and they've turned the ball over in their own end. Guys are dropping passes, breakdowns in protection, and now they have to punt from the back of the end zone. Hayden Whitehead's already had one block this year. And Nelson is deep. And it is a poor punt, but it takes an interesting hop angling away from the return man Nelson, so that'll work out okay. A 48-yard punt. Hornibrook and the Badger offense back on the field when we return. Indiana 3-5, 0-5 in the Big Ten. But man, after that first game against Ohio State, you thought this might be an 8-9 win team the way they played in that game, and they blew out Virginia on the road the following week. But since then, they just can't get a break late. Overtime loss to Michigan. They lead Michigan State late, lose that game. Lose to Maryland by 3. And here they're down by 7 after leading 10-0. And Wisconsin has the ball back, which means Jonathan Taylor going to get some more. But Taylor knocked down as they brought Raheem Lane, a defensive back, down there and run support. Nothing on that play for Taylor.
And Indiana has had so many opportunities over the course of this season to break that door down. You know, they just haven't been able to do it. And I think Michigan State was probably the best example. They're down there. They're about to ice it. They end up having to settle for a field goal. They're up 13-3 if they score a touchdown. Next thing you know, Michigan State scores, scores again. Just can't find a way to win yet.
Here's a catch by Taylor. He'll be short of the line to gain. But I think it's clear Indiana is different now under Tom Allen. And give Kevin Wilson credit for starting that, because we were talking with Mike DeBoer, the offensive coordinator. He was at Michigan twice, so in the 90s and in the 2000s, coaching against Indiana. He said the program's so different. The depth, the consistency is here now. They just got to get a win.
Totally different. And once they break through, they're probably going to do so in resounding fashion, but they can't make mistakes the way they have today. And they can't allow a team like Wisconsin to get in third and manageable like this, 3rd and 2.
Play action pass, Hornibrook. On third down, well covered downfield. The pass is there. It's caught at the 32-yard line by Kendrick Pryor. Boy, Rashad Fant had to cover him forever, and eventually Pryor came free, foot down. Let's see if he maintains possession of the ball.
You can see that left foot is down for sure, but does that ball maintain? Yes, no problem. What an incredible play by Pryor. Nothing was open. He was trying to go downfield. Hornibrook buys time. What a conversion.
Here's the sweep to Taylor on the cutback to the 25. Now breaks to the outside, heading for Payburn. Touchdown, Jonathan Taylor, his 12th rushing score of the year to lead the Big Ten.
It's easy to give love to Taylor, who's going to be in the Heisman conversation, but it's not so easy to give love to your offensive line. Look at 66, Benshaw. Watch him stay with it. Watch him. Boom. And he pushes Dutra and pancakes him with one arm. That was the block that really allowed Taylor to break it to the corner of the end zone. Great job up front by Benshaw.
24-10 Wisconsin, as Taylor is 32 yards away from his 4th 200-yard game this season.
Man, you just watch this run. I mean, there doesn't feel like there's anything there, and then all of a sudden he's through it. Benshaw gets a block downfield on Dutra, and then he's out the gate. And he just sticks with you, and he just doesn't go down at first contact. You see, obviously, the production that he's had. He's just a star in the making, and man, he's going to be fun to watch here.
I'm telling you, Greg, if you're a Heisman voter, you got to start taking notice of this guy.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. But how about also, too, I mean, don't get me wrong, Taylor's outstanding. He's a star. But if I'm a voter for the Joe Moore Award, which not a lot of people know what that is, that goes to the best offensive line in college football. Better start looking at this group from Wisconsin. They were on the finalists. They're going to be definitely in the conversation at season's end for the best unit collectively. And it's plays like that by Ben Shaw that just leave you shaking your head all the time. They're outstanding up front.
But a mistake on the kickoff out of bounds. Let's go to the studio, check in with Cassidy Hubbard.
State State, Mississippi State tied at 20 with UMass until Nick Fitzgerald takes off 10 yards for the TD run. Fitzgerald with 112 rushing yards so far. Bulldogs up 27-20 in the SEC network. Back to you.
Cassidy, Wisconsin has outscored opponents the last 2 years and went down 10-0 to start a game, 107-0. They had 7 more here. They're up 2 scores.
It's poke the bear, Dave.
Wow. And you think, too, Wisconsin run the ball, control the clock, control the situation. Not a team that's necessarily built to come from behind. My goodness, have you ever thought of something that's so opposite? They are so good with their back against the wall early.
How will Indiana respond? Backup quarterback Richard Lego. A short pass, another flag. Trying to hit Timian.
There's a flag.
It's an odd play. It could be a clip or something.
Yeah, there was something funky going on at the line of scrimmage here, no doubt.
Yeah, flag came out so quickly, almost as quick as Lego let go of that pass. The flag came out of the umpire's pocket.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense. Number 68 and number 72. 15-yard penalty. Still first down.
The mistake starting to catch up to the Hoosiers now.
Yeah, and you can see just the right-hand side. Chop block is when a guy is engaged and a second guy blocks below the waist. Right there, kind of bang. You see Stepniak, the right guard, 72. He went low, and then Littlejohn kind of picked it up. That was an odd call. I don't know if I agree with it.
1st and 25. Lego steps up and hits Timian out to the 38-yard line. So they get a big chunk of it back there. They needed that.
Well, and that's what's plagued this offense. They've started off their series, and next thing you know, they're in 3rd and 18. You got to get some positive momentum on early downs to get some rhythm, and they've had no rhythm throughout this second half.
Just got about 19 yards there. Lego stepping up, and the receiver comes free. Fillier first down to the Badger 38-yard line. Big Ten freshman of the week, Whop Fillier. And 13 catches, a touchdown a week ago. Got 24 yards in this play.
Yeah, now starting to work the intermediate area. So much of Indiana's offense has been underneath quick throws. Now trying to get in that 10 to 15 range.
Lego to the outside, incomplete. Tried to hit Devontae Williams.
Back to the quick throws. I don't understand that. When you have found some success on consecutive downs in that intermediate range, 10 to 20, I don't know why you'd go back to the quick game when that's been stymied for a majority of the last 2 quarters.
Another pass play here from Lego. Has to leave the pocket and take off. He's got running room. And he picks up the first down.
Oh, guys, did he have a wide open Simi Cobbs running down the sideline. Take a look at that, Greg.
Oh, my goodness. Scramble drill, break the pocket, and Lego is a runner without keeping his eyes downfield. That's a touchdown walk-in, do the moonwalk into the end zone if he throws it. Missed opportunity for the Hoosiers.
But they do get the first down with Lego running. Now Lego on the move again. They try to strip it, but Lego to the 18, picking up 5 or 6. And they're in the red zone.
This has been a good drive for Indiana so far, and a good job by Mike DeBoard trying to get into those intermediate zones. Of course, setting behind the sticks early with the penalty. They've responded to a little adversity themselves.
Lego off play action, going to the end zone. What a throw, touchdown, Simi Cobbs. There's a flag down, but that should be on Nelson. That was a dart by Lego.
Pass interference, defense number 11. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
What a great job by Simi Cobbs. And a terrific throw by Richard Lego. The fade over the shoulder. Well covered. Really well covered by Nick Nelson. But a perfect throw and a great catch beats great coverage every single time.
And that drive right there, and we talked earlier about how Indiana's different. That drive right there tells you all you need to know about the Hoosiers, even if they are unable to win this game and are 0-6 in the Big Ten, just about where this program is headed under Tom Allen. Let's go big picture. Let's talk a little Big Ten, Greg. You got Ohio State with an incredible win last week, and J.T. Barrett putting on a show in the fourth quarter. Penn State had played so well prior to that. You got Wisconsin here unbeaten.
Right.
Who right now is the best team in the Big Ten, and do you think it's going to be a difficult path for the Big Ten to get a playoff spot? Because right now, the first top four, there's only two conferences represented,
right?
SEC and ACC.
I don't know how you can leave out the Big Ten. I know that it just depends on how things unfold, and where's Oklahoma? Does Ohio State win the Big Ten? And then they have the head-to-head where the committee will look at the Sooners against the Buckeyes. But I think that the Big Ten right now, top to bottom as a league, is outstanding. And the committee recognizes that. And Ohio State, they might be the best team right now. I would say Penn State's right there, very close, obviously. Just watch last week if you don't believe me. But Wisconsin's closer than people realize because of the way they play in the trenches. They're so good both on offense and on defense. They know who they are, and they play to their strengths. So don't just assume that the Big Ten championship is going to be decided with relative ease and go to the winner of the Big Ten East.
Tyndall taking it out, breaks a tackle past the 30-yard line and pushed out near the 40 by Griffin Oakes, the kickoff man. Well, you talked about Ohio State. We mentioned what J.T. Barrett did last week. It won't be easy today at Kinnick Stadium. 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. Buckeyes, Hawkeyes. Coming up in about an hour. I'm with you. I mean, look, there's going to be so much movement. There are going to be upsets.
Right.
But if Notre Dame makes it in the top four, there's a chance that at least two conferences, maybe more, get left out because of the SEC and the way Georgia's playing in Alabama.
Yeah, that's the big question is, do you take two from the SEC potentially? A lot of drama that we're going to have in the next few weeks.
There's some movement up front. Indiana may have been in the neutral zone. Well, it's kind of deflating after you score a touchdown, a pull within 7 to almost let the kickoff guy out the gate and then maybe go offside.
Prior to the ball being snapped, offside defense number 54 with contact. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
So here are the East leaders. You got Penn State, Michigan State playing right now. There's actually a weather delay there. Ohio State still has Michigan State at home and has to go to Michigan. Yeah, the Wolverines may be down, but it doesn't matter when they play each other. Another 1st and 5 here. And well played by Scales, taking down running back Jonathan Taylor. Maybe a yard. There's the West standings again. Wisconsin, because it beat Nebraska and Northwestern, clearly in the driver's seat. They play Iowa and Madison next week.
Yeah, you can, if you're a Badger fan, go ahead and book your ticket to the Big Ten championship game. You're going. Okay, I mean, barring something completely unforeseen, you are going to be in
3 times in the last 4 years too.
Yeah,
if that happens.
It's amazing the consistency this program has.
2nd and 4. Taylor running right and gets a first down to midfield.
Now, Dave, you talk about Notre Dame and their schedule and then the Big Ten and the Big Ten West. I think if you're looking at the college football playoff and all 5 of the Power 5 conferences, if you're the Pac-12 and you're the Big 12, you've got real concerns about Notre Dame and Georgia. I'm not as concerned about the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten's going to play itself out and probably have a favorable outcome when it's all said and done.
Why the Big 12, though? Because you got Oklahoma with a marquee win over Ohio State. What if Oklahoma wins tonight against Oklahoma State?
They still have to play TCU. And then they have to beat the 2nd place team again.
Yep.
Hornibrook steps up, gets hit, coughs the ball up. Indiana falls on it. Actually, they're saying now Wisconsin got it back. That Hornibrook may have fallen on it. It was Robert McCray that forced it out, and yeah, Hornibrook did get it back.
Oh, you can see. And McCray, number 47, he's had a heck of a game, by the way, forcing the fumble. Man, You see, when you're a quarterback and you're in the pocket, you young quarterbacks at home always keep 2 hands on the ball. Hornibrook right there, just 1 hand on the ball. The result, a sack fumble.
Loss of 1, 2nd down and 11. Here comes a jet sweep to A.J. Taylor. Taylor dragged down just short of the line to gain at the 41 by Chase Dutra. So big 3rd down here for Indiana's defense, and a shaken up Hoosier.
It looks like it's McCray, and that's a big loss. He has been all over the place today. Maybe the best Hoosier that we've seen defensively. He's lived in the backfield and made some good plays against the run.
I want to go back to Luke's make the point. Let's just finish our discussion on the Big 12 here while we have a second before this 3rd down. Do you agree with what Tom said, that the Big 12 is going to have more difficulty than the Big 10 maybe getting into the playoff?
I think the Big 12 champion's going to have 2 losses. And I think Oklahoma is going to lose tonight in Stillwater to Oklahoma State. And Oklahoma State, they've clearly proven that they're a little imperfect too.
They have to go to Ames next week.
They have to go to Ames, and they of course lost to TCU earlier. Maybe they play TCU again, or they play Oklahoma again. And
Yep.
you know, the little engine that could too, Iowa State. I mean, don't count them out. Their size and their ability to play to their strengths. They're a team that's tough and physical, even though I think they'll probably lose tonight to West Virginia. But a good team nonetheless that we had a chance to see last week. So I just think the Big 12 is balanced, and it's so offensive driven that it's hard to bring your A game every single week offensively. There's going to be a time or two where your offense lays an egg, and more often than not, if you're a team in the Big 12 that relies so heavily on explosive offense, you're going to lose that game where your offense doesn't show up.
3rd and 1. Neville is in the backfield, a block for Groshek. Groshek gets the 1st down, knifing through that front 4 of Indiana to the 39-yard line.
37, Garrett Groshek on the carry.
Former high school quarterback, walk-on running back. When Taylor went out last week against Illinois with injury, he got the bulk of the work, had 12 carries, over 50 yards, and a touchdown.
Taylor back in now, guys.
Yeah, but you think about Groshek and Fumagalli and Jack Sitchie and Joe Ferguson. I mean, how many good walk-ons does Wisconsin have in their program every single year that play pivotal roles both offensively and defensively?
Carry number 24 for Jonathan Taylor. Maybe 2 before he's pushed back by Jonathan Crawford. Or Jim Leonard.
Jim Leonard. I mean, so many guys. And you look just through the list. I mean, so many guys that began their careers a walk-on. J.J. Watt. And sure enough, they earn a scholarship. They get into the rotation. And they end up having incredible careers. That's a real nice benefit to have. And it's a real testament to the amount of pride that Wisconsin takes in their walk-on program.
And player development too. Not everybody's going to develop at the same rate. Coming out of high school, you might be a late bloomer. You're a walk-on guy. You become a scholarship guy 3 years later.
Groshek hit on delivery as soon as the ball was handed to him. Tigray Scales makes another big play, a loss of 3. It will be 3rd down and long for Wisconsin when we start the 4th quarter. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You know, Greg, when you live in Wisconsin, you enjoy suds, some cheese, and a lot of football. Oh, yeah. You get the Badgers and the Packers on national TV this week. Green Bay, Detroit. Monday Night Countdown kicks off with our coverage at 6 Eastern on ESPN. Game also available on ESPN2 in Spanish. Big 3rd down here. Right now, out of field goal range. Maybe they'll run it, though, because Gaglianone made a 52-yarder last week. Or can they get to the 35 or so?
And you see the line to gain right there at the 35. That would be a 52-yarder.
Bring a little pressure here. Hornibrook throws. Incomplete. Broken up beautifully. Rashard Fant, 2nd team All-Big Ten, knocked it away from Taylor.
This is just a great play by Fant. Good coverage, tight coverage. by Fant. Not a bad throw. And not a bad spot to go with it either. Just well covered by Fant there in the second level.
You and I were talking during the break, Tom, too. We all thought they should run the ball. Why not?
I would have run it right there for sure. At least try to pick up 6 yards. Give yourself a chance at 3.
Here's Allen punting, and it lands inbounds. We'll see where it crossed the sideline. They mark it at the 10. Not terrible, but I don't know if that's exactly what they were hoping for from Connor Allen, the punter. Our All-State all-hands in play. Richard Lago, a strike to Simmie Cobbs on the last Indiana possession to pull the Hoosiers within 7.
That's such a great catch by Simmie Cobbs. Late hands out over the outside shoulder with the defender draped over you. Man, he made it look easy too, didn't he?
The leading receiver in the Big Ten, Simmie Cobbs, 6 touchdown catches now in the season. Indiana takes over down 7 early for it from its 10-yard line. Lago, the backup quarterback, getting the start today, dumps it off to Fillier, and he's out near the 18. Lago replacing the injured Peyton Ramsey, who hurt his knee last week. Lago started the first 4 games this year, all 13 games a year ago, led Indiana to a bowl game, and played a solid game so far. No interceptions, over 200 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Got 2nd and 4 here. Lago to the sideline for Cobbs, and I think the official missed that. Nick Nelson looked like he had a hold of the jersey backside away from the official. Let's see.
Tom Allen is going nuts.
He just ran about 40 yards down the sideline to get in the official's ear. And I don't disagree with him. There was a lot of contact. Now they've gotten Nelson a few times with a pass interference right there. I think they could have gotten him again.
3rd and 4. They got to hurry here. They're getting a check from the sideline, but the play clock is down to 4. They snap it in time. Lago flushed out of the pocket and does well to complete it for the first down to Fillier. What a great play by Lago.
Great job by Lago extending and finding Fillier right there. Just enough yardage to pick up the first down. Well executed with the scramble drill.
Lago looking downfield. Gets hit. Flag down. Lago almost throws an interception. Looked like there was holding.
I think this might be a hold.
Jacobs was dragged down. So was Van Ginkel.
Holding offense number 54. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, Koi Kong is obviously going to get called for this one. Very easy call for the officials. He's just grabbing on, holding on for dear life. And they're going to call that every time. Tough spot to be in, behind the sticks. The 2nd consecutive drive where Indiana's had a big first down penalty to make life difficult.
9 penalties, 75 yards now in Indiana. 1st and 20. Short throw by Lago through the hands of the intended receiver, Fillier. 2nd and 20.
Clearly they like the matchup right now that they have with Whop Fillier. Him underneath. He's got burst. He's, of course, a young player, but an explosive player. Clearly making him a point of emphasis here as the game progresses.
Another pass play on 2nd and 20. Lago takes a shot and throws a pick. Intercepted by Joe Ferguson. That's 2 takeaways for Ferguson, the former walk-on grandson of Barry Alvarez.
Trying to hit Fillier on a post route. And of course, the hit that Lago received because of the twist up front. He's going to feel that one tomorrow for sure. And how about Ferguson? Dropping back, recognizing that in-breaking route, jumping in front, And the grandson of Barry Alvarez comes up big in the secondary with a huge interception.
So Tyler Johnson, who forced the fumble that Ferguson recovered in the first half, forces the interception there, you could say, because of the pressure in the face of Lego. Now Wisconsin, I don't know if they would put it away here, but to go up 2 scores with about 10, 11 minutes to go might be too much to overcome against Wisconsin's defense, which is number 5 in the country. Points allowed. Taylor with his 26th carry on the day, now at $180 after 3 yards there.
Taylor did not have his best stuff last week, naturally, because of the injury. But man, has he found a way on multiple occasions this year to bounce back in the following performance. You look, Utah State, not great. How about the second game, 223. Northwestern struggled. Sure, they'll just play Nebraska, go for 250. Then last week against Illinois, banged up. Not sure if he was going to be able to go today. Not only has he gone, but he's been very effective for the Badgers.
And here comes the jet sweep, or a fake, and handoff to Groshek. The first man through. Indiana read that well. The Scales again making the play. And a penalty marker is thrown near where the tackle was made.
They're going to get Crawford for grabbing the face mask, guys. Excuse me, Covington for grabbing the face mask.
Face mask. Defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
And Tom Allen not happy. But that's another
Correction,
penalty
that will be
on
half the
Indiana
distance
that's
to
just
goal.
a killer.
Yeah, and look at Covington for right there. I mean, it's plain as day. You can see his hand on that face mask, and the officials will call that every time.
Yeah, if you turn it, they're going to call it. You
Every
turn the
time.
helmet, they're going to call it.
Yeah, and I understand Tom Allen's frustration. His team, time and time again, has made mistakes that have really made life difficult for them. They got to stay composed and have some poise.
On 1st and 10, Taylor again. Inside the 10, he coughs it up. Ball still loose and recovered by Wisconsin. Michael Dieter, the left tackle, with the pumpkin laying on the ground of the 12, just dove on it. A missed opportunity for Indiana.
Man, that could have been huge. A great job stripping the football by Stallings. But you can see as that ball bounces to the right, just not enough opportunity for Indiana to recover it. And Michael Dieter, the second time in as many weeks, has the ball in his hands in the red zone. Of course, scored the touchdown last week.
Now they go empty here. Pass play on 2nd and 10. Underneath to Fumagalli. And he's tackled around the 5-yard line. Another critical 3rd down. Indiana was able to get off the field earlier, force a field goal try for Wisconsin. Can the Hoosiers do it again? Stay in this game.
That right there was a good play. I know that 2nd down is a gain 4 or 5. It doesn't feel like a big play, but 3rd and 9 as opposed to 3rd and 3, that's a huge difference. Now you can run it here and potentially think about running it again on 4th if you feel like a touchdown is warranted.
Frederick Shaw is the tailback for Jonathan Taylor here with Ingold in at fullback. 3rd and 4 for the Badgers. And they're going to run Shaw. And Shaw just puts his head down, delivers a blow to the defender, Chris Covington, and is close to the 1st down.
It gives you options. When you're in 3rd and manageable, you can run it. Now you can make a decision as to whether or not you go for it.
He's short based on initial indication.
It's very close.
And here come the tight ends, boys.
You guys agree with us here? If he's short, you go for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely go for it. The way this offensive line is played for a majority of the day, I definitely go for it. But, of course, they're going to measure it. They might have it now. I think he's a little bit short.
And Taylor, 27 carries, only been 3 of them where he's been tackled either at the line of scrimmage or for a loss. I mean, they've been getting positive yardage. So it is 4th down.
That's a good effort, too. I mean, Covington was there in a good spot.
Boy, huh? His ankle angle is not exact, Greg, but didn't it look like the ball was further towards the 2 where they spotted it? They spotted it right at the 3.
A little bit, but it's so difficult to tell where the ball is with that angle. Of course, you have to have indisputable video evidence if they did take a look at it. But I agree with this call here. Going for it. Big back in the game. Don't be surprised if they hand it to Ingold on a fullback dive.
4th and 1. Yep, there's Ingold straight ahead, and he's able to power past the line to gain and almost into the end zone. It'll be 1st and goal from the 1 for Wisconsin. Guy's got a touchdown pass today, a touchdown catch rather, and they hand it to him there on 4th down to move the sticks, or get rid of the sticks, so it'll be 1st and goal.
I think that was a good call, obviously. Going for it there. 7 inches to gain to get a fresh set of downs. You give it to your 250-pound fullback with a full head of steam downhill. It's an easy conversion for the Badgers.
They have not put Taylor back in since the fumble, but Shaw is in there a lot. They give it to Ingold, and he is in for his 2nd touchdown today. He's got 9 career rushing touchdowns coming in, so make it 10 there, and now 3 receiving touchdowns on his career. Whenever he touches it, he scores.
And he's a backup.
Right.
And, of course, he uses him an awful lot, does Joe Rudolph, the offensive coordinator. Austin Ramish is the starter, enlisted as the starter, and you thought he'd be a little missed today. He really did. He's an exceptional player at fullback, very athletic. But Ingold has filled in admirably with a couple touchdowns.
Caglianone makes it a 14-point lead once again for Wisconsin here in the 4th quarter as number 9 looks to stay unbeaten.
All made possible by the defense. Joe Ferguson coming up huge. Life starting to seep out of the Hoosier sideline.
One of the big reasons why Wisconsin is unbeaten at 8-0, they have owned the 4th quarter. They haven't trailed in the 4th quarter this year. They've outscored opponents 80-21 in the final frame. They had 3 come from behind 4th quarter wins a year ago. I thought the committee should have had them 8. I thought they should have been ahead of TCU this week. And they might be after today. TCU has to play Texas tonight. Touchback. Indiana will start on the 25. 2 big turnovers by the Hoosiers. This one originally ruled that Ellison was down. They changed the call, said it was a fumble recovered by the Badgers, and then touchdown pass to Cephas, who would later lead the game because of injury. And then just moments ago, the interception by Ferguson on Lego because of the big hit by Tyler Johnson, paid off by the Ingold touchdown run.
Yeah, 14 points off turnovers. And Indiana, they're going to be looking back at this game and saying, man, we had a few opportunities. We just couldn't capitalize, whether it be with turnovers or with penalties. Indiana's had a couple chances. You got to give Wisconsin credit. They've taken full advantage of the mistakes that the Hoosiers have made.
To your point, that's the story of the year for Indiana. Just making mistakes at the wrong time. Lego's pass deflected. Another interception. Joe Ferguson have a day. 2 picks and a fumble recovery for Ferguson. Former walk-on.
Unbelievable. Lego moving in the pocket. More pressure, by the way, up front by the Badger front 4, or front 3 in this particular case. Contact on the throw results in a high ball to Timian and a great catch by Ferguson. And that's heartbreaking for Lego. Just a little off, and that's what great defenses do, Dave and Tom. Great defenses, they take advantage of when you're just the littlest bit off. And that's exactly what Wisconsin's done today.
Now we'll see if Wisconsin can take advantage of it, put this thing away behind the strong run game.
Yeah, you pretty much know what's coming here, right?
No question.
Carry number 28 on the day for Jonathan Taylor to the 30-yard line. He's now past a $180 on the day. He's already got 3 200-yard games this year. The first Big Ten freshman, he had 2 straight. First Big Ten freshman to do that since Mike Hart, who coincidentally is the running backs coach here at Indiana, former Michigan running back.
really going to be a special player. He's been so fun to watch and such a surprise. I don't think anyone expected him to be the star that he is this early in his career.
Play action here. Hornibrook unloads and has a completion inside the 20 to Danny Davis. First down.
That's the best throw made so far today.
Yeah.
At a time where you would never think they were going to throw it, Greg.
And flipping his hips, too.
Yeah.
A lefty rolling right, flipping around, throwing a good ball to the boundary. That requires some arm strength, that throw. But I think that this passing game, it's never going to be a real focal point, obviously. It's going to be something that you do when the defense that you're playing against is capable of holding up against the run. And there's not many teams in college football that can hold up against this rushing attack. Indiana, they've had a tough time, especially in the second half.
Taylor gets a yard to the 19-yard line.
I think that's going to be a challenge, too, for Wisconsin going forward. If Quintez Cephas is out for a considerable amount of time, how do you come up with some explosive playmakers if you happen to line up, let's just say it's the Big Ten championship game. Let's just say it's that Stindy defense against Michigan. And now all of a sudden, it's tough sledding for you offensively. Can you find ways to manufacture plays in other ways that take you off of your cycle and your rhythm? I think that's going to be tough for Wisconsin if it presents itself.
Yeah, because who's your go-to guy in the passing game without Cephas? Jez Peavy's been hurt. There's Groshek inside the 15, down to the 12.
Of course, they're good at tight end.
Yep.
Fumagalli, they have three deep there that are all capable targets. Some more than others. Obviously, Fumagalli being the feature tight end when it comes to the passing game. But I think A.J. Taylor has to be that guy. And I know he's a sophomore, but in this wide receiver group, for the most part, very inexperienced. Huge question mark coming into the season. And now with the injury to Quintez Cephas, not knowing where he's going to be, you're going to have guys step up. It's not that they're not capable. They just haven't been asked to do it yet. So it'll be fascinating over the next few weeks to see if they're capable of doing it.
3rd and 2. Groshek has the first down and more. They finally get him to the ground at the 6-yard line. You got to hit him like several times to get him to stop running, Groshek.
Yeah, he's a good back, man. It's when you look down the list and with Shaw and obviously Taylor's a star and Groshek, you wouldn't think that he'd get as many carries as he does, but he does so because he's so difficult to bring down. He sets up the blockers around him. He's good in the passing game if they need him to be. And like what you said, he's a tactician. He does everything right, and there's something to be said for that. It's hard to keep guys like that off the field.
They're going to feed Groshek again here. And he gets stood up. Wisconsin going to keep that clock rolling. The Badgers are home to play Iowa. It's a 3:30 kickoff next week, 2:30 Central Time. And then they have Michigan coming to town. They'll finish up the regular season at Minnesota. You never know how cold it's going to be for that game. Weather could be a factor.
It's going to be interesting to see Michigan. Obviously, that's a big game. Wisconsin fans are passionate about that one naturally. Camp Randall's going to be rocking like you wouldn't believe for that matchup. And what is Michigan now? Make a change at quarterback last week. Does this offense get a spark with Peters now in the lineup at quarterback? It'd be interesting to see.
Timeout here by Wisconsin with the play clock down to 2. 6:04 on the clock in the 4th quarter. Wisconsin in full command now, leading by 14 points and a second to go when we come back. Take a look at our Pacific Light game summary with Wisconsin leading 31-17. They trailed 10-0 at one point. Jonathan Taylor closing in on perhaps another 200-yard day, which would be his 4th. 2 interceptions thrown by Lego, both picked off by Joe Ferguson, who also has a fumble recovery. Wisconsin's got 14 points off turnovers, looking for more here after the latest interception. They've had the short field in the second half, run 35 plays, 26 of them have been in Indiana territory, and they've scored 17 points. Groshek on second down, fighting for the goal line, but brought down by Scales at the 1.
have to be so impressed with this Wisconsin offensive line. They just lean on you and lean on you. And then preparing for this game, and we've had Indiana 2 of the last 3 weeks, man, I am impressed with Indiana's front seven. They're good. They're athletic. They're big. They're stout at the point of attack, and they can really hold up well against big, strong offensive lines. They've had their hands full today, and that just is a real testament to the cohesiveness of this group and how well they play together.
Guess who? Ingold. Another touchdown. Third score today for Ingold. 1 through the air, 2 on the ground. And the Badgers have opened it up. And you're talking about that offensive line. I think you can make the case this line is not there just yet.
Right.
They're good, but they're only going to get better because of how young they are. I mean, you look at them and you maybe don't see that first-round pick just yet.
I see one. I see David Edwards.
Sophomore.
He's not a first-rounder this year, but he will be. Of course, the right tackle. They've had their hands full a little bit in pass protection, but for the most part in the run game, they're everything that we thought they'd be and more.
38-17, Wisconsin. Olive Songapolu, a guy likes to have fun, as Alec James was doing the finger looking good sign when he made a sack. What an athlete this guy is. He was a male cheerleader. That's him at 350 pounds.
Think about that. 350. Jumping and doing the splits.
How flexible he is.
It's amazing.
That was in high school at Mater Dei in Santa Ana, California. They finished 3rd place at the National High School Cheerleading Championships. And for some reason, somebody on our crew thought, you know, it'd be a good idea, since Songapolu can do it at 6'2", 350. If the 3 slaps on the booth could do it. Only one of them is under 30. There are 2 QBs in a pass segment, so we let Greg go first since he's the youngest, and I figured me or Lugan, but one of us is pulling a groin muscle, and so I just faked like I just faked like I was dead.
It's effort.
And then look at Luganville.
Luganville, I mean,
Called attention to
he
detail.
won. The cheerleaders voted and picked him.
I still don't understand how. I mean, that was your effort for the most part, Tom.
Yeah, was exceptional.
It
Go ahead
left
and
a
say
lot
it.
to be desired.
First of all, I'm sorry, forgive me, guys. I don't have a monitor down here. What's the score now?
We don't know yet.
Oh, okay. We'll tally that up after this play.
That's fine, but long
Everybody
story
wins,
short,
Tom. We don't keep score. Everybody wins,
Yes.
Tom.
Oh, it's a trophy league.
Yes.
Lego throws underneath.
It wasn't a trophy league until you got the lead.
Pass is incomplete. Attempt for 42. Launch failure. Coverage by 43.
All right. Still, I don't understand how. I can understand them. I mean, you're a former pro athlete, and you're still a young guy. I figured I'd get you trying that, but that's unfair to make
I can't.
Lugs and I do that.
I can't jump.
My folks, they're down here. They're cheering me on, guys.
Oh, man.
Lego in 2nd and 10, dumps it off. There's a flag down. Catch made by Brookins. They actually had us also. They had us with the flag boy. We were carrying the flags running across the field. That was not pictured.
Holding. Offense number 72. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
I still don't really understand how Tom got chosen victorious by the cheerleading crew. I really don't. It makes no sense to me. Look at that. Oh, my goodness.
Can you get some tape to patch up the pants you just ripped?
Hang on. We'll send the athletic trainer your way, Tom.
Second and 20, Lego. And it's caught by Fillier to the 27-yard line. We mentioned the flag. We were running with a flag. This is Luke's.
Yeah. Well done, Tom.
Victorious dance. I just planted. Were you trying to find the right spot where it would stick?
Yeah.
No, first of all, I was covering the entire state of Indiana. Okay? I don't want to leave any pockets, any counties, any cities out.
Fair enough. Yeah, the happy feet, just the quickness, the sheer foot quickness shown as you navigated the state and the border was truly outstanding.
Like a baby fawn.
Yeah, it's exactly how I'd describe
Everywhere.
it. It's exactly how I'd
A
describe
lesser athlete would have gone down.
Show me
Greg.
how quick your feet can move right now.
Right here?
Go feet on fire. Oh, my goodness. That's terrible. That's not good. Oh, my goodness. Crazy feet.
Eastern Kentucky would be proud.
Yeah, very much so.
Go
Timeout.
Colonels.
Wisconsin.
Don't hate. Where's the score? Have you showed the score yet?
No,
All right.
we're not showing the score.
Yes,
don't
we
want
are.
to.
And I need it. You're the play-by-play guy, Dave. Call it out.
All right, so Luganville apparently has taken the lead. Ever since we got away from football, I had no chance. We were doing football, I was in the lead over these two clowns, but
Be an athlete.
Lugs now has the lead over GMAC.
Dave, you want to know what we should do, Tom?
Yeah.
We'll just take the next 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Give Dave the lead.
Okay.
And then we'll come bowl season or the postseason, we'll start trying again, retake the lead, and finish on top. You good with that?
Well, you obviously know we'll play our best ball in December.
Yes.
Well, first of all, we had the pitchfork throwing contest at Arizona State.
I won.
We've had
I think my shoulder's still
basketball-
hurting from that, by the way.
Mine too. The three-point shootout at North Carolina.
I won.
When have we done football? It's been.
We did football week 1, that's it.
And who won?
I don't remember.
You on a technicality because we got kicked off the field.
That statement is true. On fourth down. Lego going to get sacked, just trying to hang out of the ball. And so Wisconsin will take over on downs. Let's check in with Cassidy in the studio.
Thanks, Dave. Back to Stark Vegas. Mississippi State still in a tight game with UMass until Dedrick Thomas gives the Bulldogs a little breathing room with this 83-yard punt return. Mississippi State up 34-23 over on the SEC network. And coming up on ESPN at 3:30, JT Barrett and Ohio State looking to build off their big win last week on the road this week at Iowa. Again on ESPN or the ESPN app. Dave, Greg, Tom, I want to get in on one of those dances you guys are doing.
You'd have an excellent shot at winning.
I have a feeling that you would beat us pretty easily.
You know it.
Oh, my goodness. We're not known for rhythm in this crew. Not great dancers. That's for sure.
Jack Cohen is in at quarterback, true freshman. He's the backup, and handoff to about the 13-yard line. So looking ahead for the Badgers, they've got Iowa and Madison next week, Michigan and Madison the following week, then at Minnesota.
I mean, you got to think that they're going to be heavily favored in each one of those 3 games. It's going to be interesting to see, obviously, what happens with Michigan replacing their quarterback. Brandon Peters now under center for the Wolverines, or at least likely to be under center. Jim Harbaugh did not confirm, but we can all jump to a conclusion there.
So obviously the chances are pretty much, 99% they're going to get to the Big Ten championship game. Is it going to be Wisconsin-Ohio State? And if so, can they hang? Remember, they played in the 2014 championship after J.T. Barrett was injured and Cardale Jones lit him up.
I think they can. I really believe that they can hang this year. Now, I know they're young on offense, and let's be honest, Alex Hornibrook's going to have the game of his life, hitting throws down the field, and his wide receivers are going to have to make plays, because running it consistently against those teams in the Big Ten East, whoever represents, is not going to be easy. Path of least resistance is through the air.
Cohen's pass is caught for a first down by Peniston. And look, Wisconsin's goals aren't just to win the Big Ten championship, and obviously, national championship's your goal. Is Alex Hornibrook good enough at that position?
He is.
To win you a championship.
He is, because of how they play and how the pieces around him all come together. Now, you can't go into the game and throw it to the other team. He's good to throw one to the other team almost once a game. And he can't do that. He can't make mistakes because his team is built to play with the lead. But if they can slow it down and make it a slugfest in a phone booth between the tackles, they can match up with just about anybody.
First and goal. Here's Shaw running right, and he'll make it an easily touchdown. Badgers. Third of the season for Bradrick Shaw. And a lot going on in front of Wisconsin in the college football playoff rankings that will determine where they are on Tuesday night. Still have Bama LSU coming up. Notre Dame is home to Wake. You would think that'd be a game that Notre Dame should win, but
Wake's better than you
Scary.
think, but Notre Dame should win that game comfortably.
Clemson is in Raleigh to play NC State. You have Bedlam. Oklahoma is number 5. Ohio State's in Iowa City. And TCU playing Texas tonight. SportsCenter tonight, 1:45 a.m. Eastern. They'll break down Bedlam. Kirk will give his top 4 in the college football playoff race, and also will size up the Heisman race. This is Saquon Barkley's to lose. I still think it's way too early. And again, I think Jonathan Taylor has got to start getting some run as a serious Heisman candidate. He's at 183 yards today, so he's at about 1360 with probably 5 games to go.
He's in the conversation. I mean, he has been for the last few weeks. Now, is he up there with Saquon Barkley and Baker Mayfield and J.T. Barrett and those guys? No, not yet, because he hasn't had a Heisman moment yet. Because the competition that he's played to this point hasn't warranted a Heisman moment. So plenty left on the schedule, plenty of meat on the bone, and maybe he'll have one of those Heisman moments against Ohio State or Michigan down the road.
29 carries today, 183 yards and a touchdown.
He's a star. You look at just how quick and sudden he is. Yards after contact. He's so difficult to bring down. You see it, that's Covington. That's one of the best linebackers in the Big Ten. And then on the jet sweep, look at the speed in the open field. It felt like he was going to be corralled, gain of 6. Good job defensively. Not the case. When Taylor has the ball in his hands, he somehow manages to escape and burst to the open field for the touchdown. He's been a one-man show today for the Badgers.
Alex Rodriguez getting the carry out to the 29. So here's Heismanology through week 9. Look, Khalil Tate has burst onto the scene. He's on ESPN tonight against USC. So not pictured there is Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
But I think he should be. I mean, he's going to end up before the bowl game. If he continues at this pace, he's going to be 1,900 yards and maybe 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, and in order to get to New York, he has to rush for 2,000. That's what it comes down to. That's the threshold for running backs. Obviously, there are some certain circumstances where all-purpose yards will be taken into account. For Saquon Barkley, that's what is so big about his candidacy, the all-purpose yards, how he does it on special teams and through the air. So it'll be fascinating to watch. And as you know, the Heisman has almost never won prior to November.
Well, Tate is the guy that's going to be really interesting to watch if Arizona wins out. Now, if they lose again or lose a couple games, which they could, they've got a tough schedule,
right,
including SC tonight on the road. That's going to hurt his cause. And he didn't have the September that some of those other guys did.
I don't think a lot of people have seen him play. You know, I mean, Khalil Tate, he obviously has only started 4 games, so not many people are aware of what he's capable of. Yeah, they look at the numbers and they say, man, are you kidding me? This guy's ridiculous. Wait till they see him tonight against SC.
Rodriguez picking a hole, makes it to midfield, or probably one more snap, and then this game's over.
23, Rodriguez.
But yeah, the Heisman's very, very interesting.
18.
Obviously, a lot of time left.
Well, if Oklahoma wins tonight and beats TCU next week and Mayfield plays very well in those 2 games, he may jump to number 1.
Yeah, he'll be tough to beat. That's for sure. Obviously, already with 1 Heisman moment on the resume with his performance against Ohio State week 2.
And in order to get those wins, he would have to have a fantastic performance in each of those games.
Yeah, his defense has certainly not been up to the task. They've allowed 31 points per game in October, so it'll be interesting to see how they hold up tonight in Stillwater against the Pokes.
Wisconsin trailed 10-0, but came storming back, taking over with the run game and making the most of Indiana turnovers to win this game 45-17 as the Badgers, for the first time since 2004, 9-0, one of 5 unbeatens left in college football. And we'll see if they get more love from the committee this week.
Just don't know if this is going to be the game that would give them the boost, but it's coming here very, very soon as Tom stands by with Paul Chryst.
Half for you, eliminated the penalties, really gotten a rhythm on offense. What's the message to this football team week in and week out when you've got to go and you got to win tough games?
Well, I mean, you know, in this conference, you're going to play tough games, and you want them to, everything the focus is that week, and enjoy the opportunity to get to play a game and do it together. And proud of the way guys respond big on the takeaways, certainly, and it's you want them to enjoy this tonight and then you want to come back and get ready for the next one. But it's we're lucky to be doing what we do, and players enjoy playing, and it's a fun group to be around. We just got to be in the moment and enjoy each opportunity that is weekly presented to us.
So much of the focus, particularly with fans, is the college football playoff ranking, and all you want to do is go out and play games, win games, and focus on the next one. How has your team responded to this last week?
Well, I think they've done a good job, and it's you want your fans to be excited into it, and you want your players to be focused on the opportunity that is playing. And so I think they've done a good job, and they need to continue to do that. I think that's how you can enjoy the journey that is the season.
Thanks, Coach. Go enjoy it.
All right, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
And Paul Chryst now 30-6 at Wisconsin, 19-4 in the Big Ten, 12-1 in true road games. A lot more college football coming up. Clemson, NC State, Ohio State, Iowa are the 3:30 Eastern games. For Greg McElroy, Tom Luganville, I'm Dave Pasch saying so long from Bloomington, Indiana, where Wisconsin beats the Hoosiers 45-17. Now let's send you to Kevin Negandhi in the studio.